Georgia stream where the turtles wade.
We inherited a farm. It was my grandmother's farm. It was in our family, and it had always been a dairy farm. And so we thought about what a noble thing farming is, really. And but if we were going to carry the torch, we would have to do the organic piece, because we were already convinced that organic food was very important to our health. And so that's how we started with the idea.
You see, in order to be an organic dairy farm in Indiana, you had to have and process your own products. So that's what sort of forced us into processing our own product. If we wanted to be organic, we could either dump it into the conventional milk truck and it just get diluted out, or we had to make something with our products. So that it gave us the impetus to actually do something with our products. What we have found through our experimentation is there's nothing beats what was growing here and what works well in your system. So the animals want the same grass that works well in your system. The animals that work well in your system are the ones whose babies you should keep, and you should sort of develop this sort of ecosystem where the grasses grow here well, the animals grow and eat the grass well, and the milk quality from that is also good. But the basic concept of saying rotational grazing, and what's the benefit of rotational grazing in animals on pasture, is that you're not bringing dinner to them. You're actually sending them out to the field. You don't have the energy use of the tractors. You don't have the hourly workers, mixing and feeding them, and they're basically managing themselves with their diets. And that is something that makes it a lot easier and a lot more efficient when they're doing that.
And feel that breeze rushing.
Dow AgriScience is our next door neighbor. That's, sometimes fact is stranger than fiction. Welcome to Frankenfood of the future. That's sort of the mixing of genetic material that has no business meeting each other ever. But now they're commingled and creating whatever that is that their inventor wished. It's a grand experiment on nature, and we need nature for our own survival. So however that turns out at this point, there hasn't been a lot of scientific data going into it to support whether it's a valid process or not. But anytime man thinks he's going to change nature, I think we usually are in for a big adjustment. It's a little frightening to have one of the leaders in GMO technology right next to your farm and creating new pesticides. But since they are in such a metropolitan area, they don't have the grounds in the farm. They don't really do their experimental fields here, but they just do their lab research here mostly. But they have big experimental farms, but they're out further. Our land is not being compromised, and our grasses aren't blowing on their fields and causing adverse impact to their new GMO crops or anything like that.
I went into a store about a year ago, and the apples were literally the size of grapefruits. And I was thinking, my goodness, would we want to eat this or maybe set it on our mantle? Do you know where this food came from? Because that's really the concern. How was that animal raised? How was the produce grown? The history
and where
of those products.
was it grown? why is it that we don't have to have any country of origin on our food sources? Why do we not know if it's genetically modified when we put it in our mouth? I mean, I think that's something we as consumers should demand to know. And until we do know, then we have no idea what we're putting in our mouths and where it came from and what the unintended consequences are of whatever was added to that food and not telling us what it was.
And you'll notice so many farmers markets sprouting up all over the place, and that's why we're having this wonderful rebirth of these markets, because people can go right to the person, stand across the table, and know that this person grew whatever it is they're looking at, and they can ask them all the questions that they might want to know about how did they do that, how are the animals raised, and it's really a wonderful, wonderful thing. Let alone it being local, of course. So between the restaurant and tours, I would guess we have maybe 100,000 people.
That's what I would guess too.
Come through here.
I always tell people that, I don't have the money, the time, or the energy to change the world. I can't change the world. But if we all work at making our own backyard a better place, if we all make our own backyard a better place, the world will be wonderful. Through our efforts here, we have every metropolitan school corporation, every public school corporation does a tour of our facility. Parents may be too late, but the kids can teach their parents.
And our goal is to show all these kids, that a backyard garden is possible in their own backyard and manageable and not a scary thing. And our project here has gotten way bigger than a dairy farm. It's sort of all-encompassing. We didn't really plan it that way, but it just, people are interested in seeds as well as, our milk and the grounds, and then with our restaurant, how we are able to then also supply our restaurant with some of our own growing produce and things like that. So it's been an all-encompassing for sort of a total lifestyle.
We want to educate kids that can then educate their families and educate communities. So we called sort of our process this year that we're doing with them, plant a seed. Meaning, plant a seed of, discontent that our food system is horrible. Plant a seed in your backyard so that you have real food growing in your home. Plant a seed of, the future for kids learning about agriculture. Well, this is our little farm store where we sell our products and some other local products as well. We have our milk, 100% grass-fed. We have eggs from this old farm. Organic bacon, that's hard to find, but we have organic bacon. Our most medicinal product is our fresh milk, Lulu's milk. This is unfortunately only for pets. Our most nutritional product is for pets only. But that's the way it would be. And finally, we have our award-winning yogurt. You might want to look at the map of the United States. In 2005, we were selected by Whole Foods at the Organic Trade Show in Chicago. They wished us to take our yogurt to any of the areas that we could possibly feed. So we did the upper Midwest first. So we're even in Hawaii, we're in Alaska, we're in Montreal, we're in Toronto, we're in a number of, in all 48, without wanting to actually do that, because we're so easily distributed from Indianapolis. And this was something that we intended from the start, that when you build a processing facility, you really should try to process more than just the milk from your own farm, and be able to also cooperate with other small farmers that do the same thing you do. I think that we just don't want to grow too big. That the idea is that you have a good product, you sell enough, that's enough. You know, you need to, I think that's the importance of the American dream is the spinning movie with all the headlines, and it's bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it can never get too big, right? It's like there's something about our culture that believes it can never get too big. Well, we believe we believe it can get too big, and that the most we believe the reason that those markets get sold is because they become too hard and too cumbersome for the smaller companies to handle. You know, they can't handle the success of their product, but they need to just get to a point where they believe this is enough to sustain us, and we're not growing any more than that. And if you want more of this, get somebody else to start one. Start another one. There's room for more than one. So we feel as though we're helping the market by showing people that you can make 100% grass-fed milk, and so can Organic Valley. So that's wonderful. And we're happy they're making it, because we can't put 100% grass-fed milk in everyone's mouth. That's impossible. No, we don't want to do it.
I like the fact that you're realistic.
Yeah, we don't want we just don't need the spinning headlines. I'd love a wonderful family business that my family could maintain and keep going. You know, it'd be nice if American businesses lasted for a century. You know, it's the idea of a sustainable business that really does keep going and doesn't make all its money when it actually either goes public or is sold.